Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Born in 103 podcast. It's been a while, but we wanted to make an NBA episode today so we could talk about LeBum James and the shitty Lakers.
You're about 10 seconds late, but we'll
Well, I
take
had to do
that.
the intro. It was like
Yeah,
7 seconds.
yeah. Yeah, we're like hella late. Like normally we would do like a predictions or whatever, but life happens. So
It is what it is.
yeah. But I mean, if I could share mine, I have to go back and look. I'll do that later. But a lot has happened since the playoffs have started, and obviously we're into 3 games into the Western Conference Finals, and I think game 2 is tonight, right? We're recording this on the 25th of June.
Yeah.
So game 2 is tonight for the Eastern Conference Finals. So obviously, I think even if we did a predictions, neither of us would have predicted that the Hawks would be in the conference finals.
Like I thought it was a toss up against the Knicks for the Hawks, so I wouldn't even had them. I don't know if I would even had them after the first round.
I didn't. I had the Knicks in 6.
And I definitely didn't have them beating the fucking Sixers.
Yeah. Well, I guess the thing about the Sixers is I mean, and it's not Ben Simmons' fault that they lost.
He's ass though.
Yeah, he definitely didn't help.
He needs to go. Yesterday.
So the thing about him needing to go, the team they can't just say, "Oh yeah, he's done," because then teams are just gonna like lowball them on Ben Simmons, which he's not bad. Obviously, he's an all-star level player, but
yeah,
not being able to shoot free throws.
He's your point guard and he can't shoot anything.
Yeah,
like that's bad.
I just think he was in his own head. I think he was in his head for half that series towards the end. Oh, yeah, because they were like, just foul Ben Simmons. He's not going to make his free throws. He was shooting worse than Shaq. He shot worse than Shaq and like one other like bad center at the free throw line.
The only thing I saw, like he had the worst like playoff free throw percentage like ever, but it was like worst free throw percentages in history. I think DeAndre Jordan had one season where it was lower than his playoff.
It's terrible.
But Shaq, if he can, every year of his career, Shaq shot better from the free throw line than that playoff run.
But I don't even think he can. Like at this point in his career, like people, I mean, someone made the comparison between. I think I told you about this. Made the comparison between him and LeBron, which they are really similar players. But LeBron has actually learned to shoot. Like he can shoot 3-pointers now. Like he can actually shoot from the line, even though it's not as good as you would want him to. But I don't think Ben Simmons like can do it. I don't know if he can.
I have no idea.
Like I've
read reports that say like he doesn't want to do it or whatever. Like he doesn't listen. You know, it's not like I'm reading like Woj reports saying that. It's just like random shit. But
yeah,
which could be fake. Who knows?
I mean, I was listening to an interview or a podcast. I think it was like Jimmy Butler, Duncan Robinson, and I think it might have been JJ Redick. But Jimmy Butler talked about when he was in Philly, how like the coaching staff, or at least with Brett Brown, I don't know about Doc Rivers, but Doc Rivers, he could take some blame too, because he probably shouldn't even have been in the game in some of those games. He should have taken him out. But how the coaching staff like just didn't really challenge them at all. Like they didn't challenge Ben Simmons, they didn't challenge Embiid. It was just kind of like, these are our 2 best players, so we're just kind of gonna let them do what they want. Yeah. That's what Jimmy said, and it seems like it might be right if Ben Simmons doesn't even want to like learn how to shoot free throws. I mean, if for somebody that's getting paid, like I think it's like 4 more years, like $147 million, like they paid him all that money to not know how to shoot. Mm-hmm. That's ridiculous. So I don't feel bad though, not at all.
It just sucks for Sixers fans.
I mean, they trusted the process. They got burned. I don't know what you.
It's not Embiid's fault. He's still the.
It's not. Well, he could have played better in Game 7, but it's not his fault. Because he had like 8 turnovers. But no. Embiid's the last person I'm blaming when it comes to them losing to the Hawks. And the Hawks are for real, I think.
Yeah, they are good.
Like they remind me of the Heat from last year, just like not in the bubble.
When they got who is it? There's like
2 Bogdanovich.
There's 2 of them. Whichever
Bogdan is. It's Bogdan.
Yeah. So when they got him, when that trade with the Bucks fell through, I was like, yeah, they're probably going to be pretty good this year.
I didn't even think this year. I think they're like 2 or 3 years ahead of schedule.
Oh yeah,
especially
well
to
to be
be
this far, yeah. But I thought
yeah,
they'd be like a playoff team this year. I didn't
which
think
they
they'd be
almost
this
weren't.
good. So they were the
They
5 seed.
they no because
I mean,
Lloyd
it was by
Pierce had
like
them
2 games.
Lloyd Pierce before they fired him, they were like the 11th seed, like out of the playoffs. So if nothing else happens at all in life this offseason, like Nate McMillan needs to get his money and like a lot of money because he took them from not in the playoffs to 3 games away from the finals. So
Yeah, maybe they might do it. Who knows?
they could. I mean, they already. I think every game this playoffs, like they won the first game, like the road game.
Yeah,
So, and then if they win tonight, it's tonight, right? Yeah. If they win
yeah,
tonight,
it's over.
it could be a wrap.
I would say it's a wrap. They've been 2 in Milwaukee.
Yeah. It'll be like Hawks in 5 or Hawks in 6 at the most because they're a really good road team.
Mm-hmm.
And Trae Young, I didn't even think Trae Young was going to put up like the amount of points he did because I figured, oh, Drew's guarding him. Maybe he gets like 20, 25, but 40
48, right?
points. Yeah,
Is it
40 points,
48?
11 assists. It's insane.
It's the start of a new era with D-Book and Trae Young and Luka.
Well, I read something on ESPN the other day. It was like we should stop talking about like the empty stats stars. So like Devin Booker and Trae Young were like the prime examples of empty stat players because they played on bad teams, but like put up a lot of points and like a lot of assists and things like that, but it didn't translate to winning.
Mm-hmm.
And I never thought Devin Booker was an empty stat player because he's always been like,
He's always
he's a
been
guy that hits
good.
tough shots. Yeah, like he makes
He's a
things look
walk.
easy.
He's a walking bucket.
Yeah, and Trae Young was like that too. But the guy who I think is like the prime example of empty stats, he's not even a star. He's just like some tall dude. It's Andre Drummond. This dude sucks. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, the Lakers suck though.
Well, okay, when I say sucks, he's an NBA player, but he wasn't it. People thought when we got him from Cleveland that it was going to be like, oh, Lakers Nets, like Andre Drummond's going to make the difference. He's going to rebound all over Brooklyn. It's like he didn't even know what he was doing on the offensive end at times. Like it was just bad. It's like and I love the fact that Vogel benched him for a game. Was that 6 that they lost? Like he didn't even play because why would you play him? He was Garbo.
The thing is, big men in the league, it's like I don't know. I don't understand it because like obviously you want to have a good big man, but like if they can't stretch the floor and like shoot threes, like there's no point in having them out there because the team runs small. Like the Warriors, for example, right before KD, you have Draymond as your 5. You know, and you
Yeah.
run small ball with Iggy and Harrison Barnes. You know, it's like all of them can shoot. And then the Cavs, when they were in the finals against them, they'd be like, well, fuck, we can't play any of our big men now. LeBron's got to play center. Or Tristan Thompson's got to play center, which I think he is a center now, but
Yeah.
it's like really small for a center. Usually your center's like 6'11", 7 foot. So I don't understand centers and why everyone's like, oh, yeah, we got Andre Drummond. He's so good. And it's like he's not going to be playing in the playoff basketball.
I don't think the way, so if you take Andre Drummond from the Pistons and the Cavs, right, where he was like he would get 20 points, like at least 10 rebounds, 15 rebounds, and it's like, oh, he was great for fantasy, like fantasy basketball. If you do a points league, like he's probably the GOAT or one of the GOATs in fantasy basketball. But you can't take him from Cleveland, where he has no expectations of winning anything, to LA and have him play with AD and Braun. Which I mean, for in the regular season, he didn't really play with either of them all that much because they were both hurt. But you realize that he's not carrying a team by himself. Like being tall only does so much. You kind of have to like also know what is expected of you, and he didn't. So I don't know. It just makes me upset because he needs to go to Shanghai. That's when he needs to go to Shanghai Sharks.
Shanghai Sharks.
Maybe not Kuzma, but Andre Drummond.
Him and Kuz both can go.
Nah, Kuz just had a bad series. He's not bad. He'll be okay.
Needs to get out of LA.
I mean, I've said this like 1,000 times. They should have kept Lonzo and sent Kuz to the Pelicans in the AD trade. I've said this a million times.
But Lonzo's also ass.
No, he's not. Lonzo's about to get paid. Somebody's going to pay him, yes. And New Orleans is probably not going to be able to afford to keep him because...
Dude, New Orleans, talk about a dumpster fire. You know, New Orleans, everyone's like, oh my God, they had 2 of the top 4 picks like 2 years ago. You know, won the Zion sweepstakes. They have all these young guys now from the Lakers. It's like, oh my God, they're the next up and coming team, and now they're just dog shit. The only
Yeah,
good thing they have
everybody's
is Zion
leaving.
and Lonzo, and Lonzo's like, yeah, fuck this shit, I'm out of here. Zion's like, yeah, I'm out of here, bitch. It's like, you guys are fucked. Like you were given the best situation in basketball aside from the Thunder, honestly, who I think have the Thunder are in an interesting situation because it could all play out where they get like a bunch of top 3, top 4 picks, or they could get like 6, 7, like number 6 or 7 picks, and then it's not worth it. So
yeah,
but they were given like the golden goose, you know, the once every like decade player in Zion, and they're like, he already in his second year is like, yeah, we don't want to be here anymore. And it's like, that sucks, dude. Like,
at least we got a championship.
Signed another contract with Cleveland. At least LeBron signed after his rookie contract another like 3 or 4 year deal. Zion's like, fuck that, I'm gone. It's like, damn.
Well, I mean, it's sort of like, it's kind of what I don't know how to describe this situation accurately. Because Josh Hart wants to leave. At least that's the report that he wants to leave. Lonzo's probably going to leave, but not because he doesn't want to be in New Orleans, but because another team is they're going to bid way too much to get him that New Orleans is not going to be able to match it because he's a restricted free agent. And I mean, they got Brandon Ingram, but without Zion, like, I don't know what else they're going to do. It's just falling apart right in front of their eyes. At least the Lakers got a championship. Like, at least we got those.
The Lakers, I mean, you got your ring, you got AD for God knows how long he wants to stay there. So
yeah,
probably it's kind of hard to want to leave like that kind of team though.
What, like the Lakers or the Pelicans?
It's hard, the Lakers. So like if you're like on the Lakers and you know they're gonna bring players in for you that have a history of doing that. So if you stay there, LeBron like retires, they're gonna bring a guy for you. Like they're not gonna be alone.
Yeah. Pelinka, he does what's necessary to win. He's not trying to like build for the future. He's just like, listen, let's get a championship like yesterday. And that's what he does. Which is, I mean, respect to that.
LeBron's ass now.
What will we get for LeBron?
Nothing, because he's ass.
No, he's not. He was just hurt.
He's a liability on defense.
Okay, well, so I'll say this. He was hurt, right?
He's hurt my ass.
No, he was hurt, but he also did not play like
I was gonna say
what he needed to. What he didn't do what he needed to do. Like there were some plays where I was just upset.
In the fucking series. You're winning the damn series. Fucking do what you fucking gotta do. Don't let them fucking walk all over you.
And the Suns are good. I remember when
good, but like LeBron just like watching the ball.
Yeah, he did that a lot.
I could get that rebound. Nah, I don't want it. You know, it's like fucking damn, dude. Like, yeah, after AD got hurt, I was like, yeah, that series is a wrap. But
yeah,
none of those games were even competitive. Like, none of them felt competitive. They lost 3 straight, just like shit games. I was like, yeah, your team's ass. We get it. Like, your team's not good this year. I don't know why they all sucked this year, but they did. I don't even know.
I mean, but I don't know why people are surprised. Like, without LeBron and AD, that's a bad team. Like, the team's not good. Like, if Devin Booker got hurt, like tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
The Phoenix, they would still be like at least respectable. They have a lot of pieces. They have Ayton, they got Chris Paul coming back. Like they've got Bridges, Cameron Payne, like so many players on that team that could contribute. The Lakers are just like Alex Caruso is the backup point guard. Like, I mean, he's not bad, but like he does what you need him to do.
Cavs.
Yeah. So the team was terrible.
It's the LeBron effect, honestly.
Is it?
Well, yeah, if he's on the floor and he's doing like his thing, everybody looks so good, you know. Like, oh my God, they're all so good, and then LeBron leaves, and it's like just straight shit. All of those players are like ass, 30% from the field. No, it's LeBron James effect.
That's what you sacrifice to get a championship. Once LeBron leaves, we're gonna be bad again.
The championship last year, it would be like riots.
Yeah, yeah, it would have. But I want to talk about the Suns though, because after the Lakers beat the Warriors in the play-in game, I was like, I don't know. I'm kind of afraid of the Suns. I was more afraid of the Suns than I was of the Jazz. And I think if they would have lost that game,
teams would have fucking
they both would have beat the Lakers, especially with AD still getting hurt. But the Suns are good though. They're really deep. They have a lot of like good players, like I just said. And I think it'll be like Suns Hawks in the finals. I think I have the Hawks in 7 in the Buck series,
Ooh, I have no
and I
idea. I
have
can't even give a prediction.
I think I'm gonna say Suns in 6 against the
I think the
Clippers.
Suns will still win.
Yeah, I mean Paul George
That's
missed those free
why.
throws. That was
Pandemic.
rough.
I was watching Snapchat, Sports Center on Snapchat, and it was like playoff P, in the U Jazz series, like he did really well, right? So it's like, playoff P
Yeah,
was back, but in game 2 of the against the Suns, pandemic P reared its ugly head again when he missed 2 clutch free throws, and I was like, pandemic P.
but that's the thing though. Like if you watched it, he hit some big shots in that game at the end. He did.
Oh yeah,
And it's like, how did we went from playoff P to pandemic P in the space of like 10 minutes, like 10 real life minutes, but 2 in game minutes. It was insane. It's like Paul George managed to miss both those free throws, which he played well last night, got them a game back. But I mean, Jesus
you could
Christ.
have
like,
2.
huh?
You
Could
could
have
you
2
could
games?
have
Yeah, you
2,
could have
not
2 games.
2-1.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Chris Paul was out for 2 games, and you could have won. You should have been able to win both of those games.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I was watching that game and I was getting back to the point where I felt comfortable, like maybe buying a pair of Paul George shoes. And he missed the free throws, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I don't want those shoes anymore.
no, the new playoff P is Porzingis.
Oh yeah,
Bum.
yeah.
He'll be in China soon.
Yeah, he was so good in New York at first too. It's kind of like,
Dude, it
what
was
happened?
crazy.
Like, what happened
Even
to
like
you?
he was average in the first 2 years in Dallas. He wasn't
Yeah,
great, but he was average. Like he could get you like 15, 20 points and like 10 rebounds. But now it's just like, what the fuck are you doing?
yeah. And have you seen the stuff about Luca? Like, apparently Luca got Rick Carlisle fired. Like, he didn't want to play for Rick Carlisle anymore, or something like that. Which I thought that was interesting because it's kind of like, yes, he's your franchise player, like he's generational, but
You got to do what he wants, though. Honestly,
yeah, you do.
because he's great already. Great. He's not like an up and coming star. He is a fucking star.
Yeah,
You got to like make him happy, because if he doesn't want, because this coach, like, I mean, it sucks, because Carlisle's been there since
forever.
2000,
Since I can remember.
I was gonna say he's been there for at least like 10, 12 years. So it's like
At
he's
least.
been there forever.
Yeah.
So it sucks to like let him go, but like if your franchise players, like, he doesn't like you, like, you kind of fucked. Like LeBron doesn't like, if he doesn't like Vogel, like, yeah, bye, you're gone. Sorry. Like,
yeah, we all know Vogel is not like, Vogel was never the answer though. Like, they made some great defensive adjustments last playoffs, but like, he's not going to win you games like by himself. He's not Nick Nurse. Like, he's not Nate McMillan. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. But I mean, Jason Kidd's going to be the coach now, so we'll see how that'll work. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, maybe he'll spill his drink again, get an extra time out.
Honestly, what about the Jazz though? I like,
they need another star.
You think
they
so?
They have a lot of pieces, like a lot of good quality role players, but they need another star to help carry that load. Because like Jordan Clarkson would put up 20 or 20 some nights, but then other nights he wouldn't put up that number. They need another guy who consistently can get 20.
And Rudy Gobert is not that guy.
It's hard because centers are like, in regular seasons, centers are nice. They do what they need to do. They get points, they get rebounds, they get blocks. But in the playoffs, like, centers are a liability a lot of times, because then they start to exploit, like, using them in pick and rolls, and then you have Gobert guarding like Steph Curry, and Steph's just like, oh, this is easy. Fucking makes him look like a fucking like ballerina out there. So
yeah, that's why Shaq said what he said, because he was like, I think this was like 2 years ago when they first gave him that like massive contract, and Shaq was like, listen, kids, like, you can grow up, average 11 and 11, and get like $200 million. That's like, that's the moral of the story. Because it's like, Rudy Gobert's not that guy. Like, you're not that guy, pal.
He's not
You're
bad.
not that guy. Yeah.
It's just like, I don't see paying centers that much money. Unless they can shoot threes. If they can shoot
unless
threes,
they're
Embiid,
by all means. Yeah. If you're like Embiid, then yeah, give him his money. But
yeah,
if you're like Porzingis before he started being trash, then give him his money. But yeah, Gobert, I mean, he's good. He's good for what he does, but he's not gonna like take you to the ring.
Yeah,
he's not gonna give you a ring.
It's just playoff. There's playoff players and there's regular season players. And I think Gobert is a really good regular season player. Like, he wins Defensive Player of the Year all the time. Like, I think he's won 3 times or 2 times,
Yeah,
and he's been a
yeah.
finalist like the last 5-6 years. So he's good, but yeah, they
You
need
know who's
another
like
they need like a small forward or like a power forward who can put up like 20 points a game.
do you know who's really a playoff player?
Who?
Damian Lillard. That
Damian
dude.
Lillard just a bucket, dude.
He should
He
leave.
fucking
I think he
shoot.
should leave.
He can shoot from anywhere on the floor. You talk about Steph Curry is probably the best shooter of all time. Honestly, though, I don't think I've ever seen Damian Lillard miss. Seriously, though, I don't think
Yeah.
I've ever seen him miss. Like, I've seen Steph miss, but I've also watched more games than Steph's in, so like it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, I don't think I've ever seen Dame miss in the clutch. Like, for real though.
So, but that's the thing about like being in a place like Portland, where it's kind of like, yeah, people that know like that you're the real deal, but like you're still not Steph. Which the thing about it is, I think, and this is the thing with Dame and Steph, because Steph is the greatest shooter of all time, but for different reasons than Dame is a great shooter. And I can't like Dame's really like describe it. Yeah,
Dame's more clutch for sure. Like Steph's clutchness is like, he can shoot. Like, he's made like game-winning baskets before, but not in like real games. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I've seen Steph hit a game winner in a playoff game.
I would say I've seen him hit game winners in a regular season before, but like playoff game, I've never seen one.
I haven't. I can't remember the last time. But Dame he'll hit 2 of them in the same game, keep his team in the game, and then like somebody else will turn the ball over, or he'll like pass the ball one time and they like miss the shot. It's actually tragic.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying he should leave. And I don't know if I think we talked about this before we started this, but I don't think he can leave yet. He'd have to pull like a James Harden and say like I'm not playing for you anymore. Just trade me. I think he'd have to do that for this upcoming season. But maybe like in a couple seasons he can be out. I think. I'm not completely sure.
How old is he?
Dame's like 28.
I was gonna say he's not 30 yet.
No.
I think he was like the year before Kyrie.
No, he is 30. We lied.
Oh, he is 30?
Yeah. He's been in the league for a while.
I would say. How old's Kyrie then?
Probably
Kyrie
30.
came out when he was like 19, though. Kyrie came out when he was 19. Never mind.
He came out younger.
27, 26. Maybe 28.
29.
Oh, geez, he is old. Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
So what we saying about? Yeah, what we saying about Brooklyn?
No, I was saying about Brooklyn's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, you know, with like everyone's injuries and stuff, and like KD's obviously like arguably the best player in the league right now, because like he single-handedly like carried them. And what game was that? Game 5 or 5? Yeah, he's fucking crazy. So, like that was without Kyrie and without James. Then the next game, James came back, but he didn't play very good. Because obviously,
he actually played like crap. Not just very good. He like didn't do anything.
But like I've been reading things, and it's just like apparently Brooklyn wasn't really happy with Kyrie like taking time off in the middle of the season and stuff. And if they already have James, they don't need Kyrie anymore because they do the same thing. So I've heard that I've heard reports that they were interested in shopping him.
Well, I said that at the beginning when they first got James Harden, that like they should trade Kyrie, because I didn't see the need. And this was at the beginning. This before. Yeah,
you can get a lot of stuff for him. Like you could trade him away to someone like, if you want to trade him to Utah, right? And you get like Jordan Clarkson, and you get another player off the bench. You get 2 solid role players who can come in and hit, you know, and get you buckets. Because you already get like 60 points, 70 points from KD and James, like guaranteed 70. That's a guaranteed 60 points, guaranteed every game. If they're healthy. So you don't need Kyrie
if they're nothing's wrong.
Kyrie's only going to get you like 20 points because he's not going to get as many shots. So you can get people to replicate 20 points for a lot cheaper.
Yeah. So. But the thing about them losing to the Bucks is, I think it's I wanted the Bucks to win, just like full disclosure. And I told one of my friends, I was like Bucks in 7 in Game 7, like Giannis would get 30. I said Middleton was going to get 30, which I was wrong about that. I think he got like 25, but I was like they'll both get 30, and it'll go to overtime, and they'll win on the road in Game 7. He was like, nah, you're wrong, and like almost down to a T, he got it right. And I said that after like Game 5.
If only KD's feet weren't like 20 inches long.
Yeah, I thought, like, when I first saw the highlight, I said, yeah, his foot's probably on the line. Because they ruled it a 3, like, on the ESPN app, because I couldn't watch it. And I was like, well, I don't know about that. And then, yeah, his foot was on the line. But it's just like...
Big-ass feet.
Yeah, that's the one downside. That's why footwork's so important. And then Stephen A. was like, I think on Twitter, he was like, what more could KD have done? And then people were like, he could have hit the last shot to win the game. That's what he could have done. Like the one he airballed, like that's what he could have done. But you can't really blame him for that. He played like the entire game, like a quarter of the points, like 2/5 of the points.
Now he knows how LeBron feels.
With a better team, KD still had a better team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He knows how LeBron feels getting like 40 points, 10 rebounds, 15 assists, or 15 rebounds, 10 assists, and still losing.
Seems like you
after the Nets loss, I saw a lot of stuff just saying like, you guys remember when LeBron was in the East, like, and he made the finals like 8 years in a row? Oh yeah, like he just steamrolled through the East with like some teams were not very good, you know, like a lot of his teams were good.
Yeah.
Like obviously the Heat and the Cavs with Kyrie, like they were good teams. They were probably going to go to the finals, but it's like none of them were ever as good as KD, James, and Kyrie. And like even like Giannis, Middleton, and Holiday, and like that bench they have is a solid ass team. You know, you could argue it's better. It's definitely better than LeBron's last Cavs team. You know, like they sucked. The fact that they made the finals was fucking sad. It's like that's really sad that they did it. But yeah.
But the thing, so yeah, I think that I've been said they should have traded Kyrie just to get something, especially if he's going to like take PTO every other week. But
yeah,
we'll see what they do. How do you feel about Denver? Denver getting swept by Phoenix? It's whatever.
No, I think the Suns are good. That's what that means.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't know what else they need. I don't really watch it that much. All I know is like Jokic was fucking crazy. You know, like he is a big man. Like he's the kind of guy you pay like that kind of money. He shoots. He can do anything.
Yeah.
Him and Embiid are like the only two centers out there that are like they can do anything you ask them to do. Like they can be point guards. They can shoot threes. They can get rebounds. They can get assists, blocks, steals. They can do everything. So, but other than him, I mean, no one. They played well. It's just the Suns are crazy. You know.
I think they played well in like 3 of the games. There was one game where they just like kind of gave up. Yeah. Which that was bad.
The Suns are just so good, dude.
And then Jokic getting ejected, I thought that was funny. Well, not funny, but funny for the wrong reasons because it's like, why? Like, he didn't do anything. But these refs sometimes, they just do whatever they want to do.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I've been watching a lot of like baseball stuff, you know, like John Boy on YouTube. Like he puts out like breakdowns of like games and stuff. And there was one game. It was the Indians and Orioles, and the Indians batter got hit on the hand, like on a check swing, and they called it a ball, and it hit the bat. Since they called it a ball because they said the check swing didn't go through the plate, but they reviewed the hit on the hand and they showed on the big screen or whatever, and it showed had he crossed the plate with the bat, but that's not a reviewable call. So they said hit by a pitch because it hit him in the hand. And it was the first inning. It was the bottom of the first, and the Orioles coach comes out and just like, you literally just showed the whole like stadium and all the fans like it was a swing. And he's like, yeah, we can't review that though. And the guy, he's just like mad that the first base ump like blew the call. And he's like, you blew the fucking call. Good job, whatever. And then goes back to his dugout. And the guy's like, shut up, stop talking. And he's like, you blew it. And he's walking back to the dugout. He's not like in his face. And then he gets thrown out. And then he's like, goes to the ump and is like, what the hell is wrong with you? It's the first inning. I was going back to the dugout. And he's like, shut up, I'm not talking to you. And he's like, and then he's like going to all the other umps just like, what is going on? It's like, umpires are crazy. They'll just do what the fuck they want. Like, you look at them funny. You look at them funny, and it's like, you're gone, bitch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes, like, at least in the NBA, sometimes refs make calls to, like, set the precedent for the game. Because there was, like, I think it was Paul George and Jay Crowder. It was, like, the first quarter, and they both went down, like, for a loose ball. And they started getting a little bit chippy, and they called double text on both of them, which I could see that because, like, Crowder likes to get up to some nonsense. Paul George likes to talk. So it's kind of like, I'm warning you now, like, don't do anything else. But sometimes, like, what's his name? Joey Crawford. You remember Joey Crawford, the NBA ref?
Oh, fuck yeah.
That dude was hilarious.
Tim Duncan just for smiling. Just for smiling and laughing on the bench, kicked out Tim Duncan. Tim's just like, what? Okay, I'll leave.
I don't know. I think I told this group chat I'm in, I was like, yeah, we need Joey Crawford back just for the entertainment value alone, because I'm sure any game he was reffing would get like twice the ratings just to see what nonsense he would do.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, umps like baseball umps, when they make like bad calls, it's like I can tell that was a strike.
Offended.
Like when they call things balls or strikes when they're not balls or strikes, it's like if I'm at the game, I could see that from like the nosebleed seats that was a strike, and you called it a ball. Like why? I'll never understand. I really won't. But
yeah, it's crazy.
But that's the thing about Jokic. They ejected him for like no reason. Well, he didn't really do anything that egregious to get ejected. But it's like, why would you eject the league MVP? It's like it's the last game. Like they're trying to survive, and you eject him in like the third quarter or whatever it was. It just didn't make much sense.
Yeah.
Adam Silver is probably pissed. He's like, I need my MVP in the game. Like, what are you doing? Because they do that for LeBron. LeBron's like only been ejected, 0 times or 1 time?
No, 1 time.
When was that? Was that when he was on the Heat?
It was in Cleveland.
Oh, what game was that?
I don't remember, but I do remember when he got ejected.
I'm about to look
what year it was, but I do remember him being ejected.
That was the first time, and that was the second time in Cleveland. Wow. He was arguing a call.
What year was it? I'm trying to think.
I think it said 2017.
Okay. So it was like the last year with Kyrie, I'm assuming then?
Yeah. No, that was the last year in Cleveland. Oh, Kyrie was already gone, yeah. And they ejected him. And LeBron never gets ejected, except that one time.
Yep. This is crazy.
What else has happened in the playoffs that we should talk about? That Game 7, Brooklyn-Milwaukee was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
What else? The Mavericks like barely beating barely losing to the Clippers.
I was so pissed.
I really wanted the Mavericks to win.
I wanted Mavericks to win so bad.
But I only wanted them to win because I don't want the Clippers to like win anything.
Okay.
Like I was
They're not going to win though. I honestly think the Clippers are going to win. Like this.
Really?
If they make it, I don't think they're going to win.
For this series against the Suns, they need Kawhi to come back. Because if Kawhi comes back, then they have like more than a solid shot to beat the Suns. But I don't think Paul George can get them 4 games by himself as like the main star on your team. Because Kawhi, you talk about Dame like never missing, like you've never seen Dame miss. I've never seen Kawhi miss a mid-range jumper ever. And like since he left San Antonio, I've never seen him miss a mid-range jumper. He's got like 99 mid-range, like Hall of Fame Deadeye, Hall of Fame like Green Machine, all the badges in 2K. Like seriously. So Kawhi comes back, I think they stand a better chance. I think Suns in 6. If Kawhi comes back, I'd say like Suns in 7. But Kawhi will get him another game at least.
Yeah.
But
when's that game 4 tomorrow? Or is it 2
days? They played last night, so probably tomorrow.
Okay.
Hawks Bucks is
2 days or if it was 1 day.
I think it's 1 day. And it might be like because they're there, like because they're in LA, it'll be 1 day. But when they switch cities, I think it's 2 days. I think that's how it works. I might be wrong. I'm trying to look it up.
I have no clue. But
yeah, today. So Hawks Bucks play today at 8.
Who? Like Grizzlies? Yeah, I mean,
it's whatever. Like
game. No one really cares.
Yeah,
Wizards. Yeah, nobody really cares. Celtics. I mean, what did you expect?
Nobody expected them to win that series. So, because maybe if they had Jaylen Brown, it might be different. But just Jason Tatum, like he could put up 50 and they'd still lose the game. So. And that's the crazy thing about it. Did you see any like of the recent people ranking like the top 5 players under 25? Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like most people had like Luka 1, which I mean that's fair.
Makes sense.
And then like who would be 2? Like Jason Tatum 2, like or
Trae Young
Zion
now.
3, and other
Trae Young's on there now.
Yeah, who else was on there 4 and 5? I think it was like
Book.
But yeah, Devin Booker would be like 4, and like John Morant would be like 5 or something like that. And it's like all these players that we have in the league now, all these young players, it's kind of like John Morant probably shouldn't be in there, even though he's really good. He shouldn't be in there. Zion probably not either, because then you're leaving out Trae Young, who's still in the playoffs. Donovan Mitchell, who put up 40 on a bad foot, like on a bad ankle, but still put up 40 points.
So the one I saw was Luka 1. I think it was Mitchell or D-Book 2, Mitchell 3, Zion 4, and Tatum 5.
Now, that's nonsense, because there's no way I'm putting Zion before Jason Tatum right now. No way.
Zion needs to shoot more.
He needs to actually do something in the playoffs before I put him that high. Like at least Luka being number 1 makes sense, because he's gonna. If it was like quarterbacks in the
40,
NFL,
dude. Like he's putting up 40 in playoff games, like
yeah,
consistently.
Like Luka's like a quarterback, right? Like if Brady's playing the game, the money line for Brady's team goes up by like, I don't know, 10, 12 like points or something like that. Because just him being in the game makes their chances to win that much greater. That's how Luka is. Like if the Mavericks did not have Luka, they would be such a bad team. But because they do, they actually like can compete. So that makes sense. And Jason Tatum's kind of like that too. Like without Jason Tatum, the Celtics are trash. Like they're really bad.
Which is really sucky, because like think about all the fucking assets they had.
Yeah.
Like they should have honestly traded assets for players. Like they had like 5 first-round picks for the course from other teams plus their own. But they decided to hold on to all of them and try to build like a team from the draft. And it's like that's a really like hit or miss kind of deal, because you could get the Warriors where you get like 3 all-star players,
3 Hall of Famers,
like around the same draft class, like within 2 draft classes of each other. Or you could be like, you could even say Cleveland, who hits only 1 person. Like we had 4 first-round picks, 4 top 4. Sorry, we had Kyrie, Tristan Thompson, Dion Waiters, Anthony Bennett, and then Wiggins. We had 5 top 5 picks in 4 years without LeBron. We only picked 1 really good player in those 5 picks. Like, it sucks trying to go from the draft, and especially in 3 of them were number 1 picks, and we still couldn't even fucking,
can't hit. Yeah.
Well,
let's just exclude Anthony Bennett, because that was just bad. Like, take that out, and it still sucks. That's the thing about it. Because I don't know who picked Anthony Bennett, but
I don't think he was even ranked like top 10 in the draft, and we still picked him. I don't even fucking know why.
Somebody trying to be smart, trying to get their legacy established.
Who's a bigger bust, him or Kwame Brown? I would say Bennett.
That's probably Anthony Bennett,
because Kwame at least played like 5-10 years, 5 years. He played on a few teams.
He played for a while.
He was a bum, but he played. Anthony Bennett played like 1 year and then was like out. Like, nope, gone.
Yeah, that was bad. But I mean, the thing about the Celtics is they have hit though. Like they've hit. Like Robert Williams is good. He's just not like all-star level yet. Jason Tatum's obviously all-star. Jaylen Brown's all-star level. So it's kind of like they've made some good picks. I think Peyton Pritchard is good. Like they've got some other guards that they picked recently that are okay, right? But it's just hard. Like you can't expect to pull a Warriors like in the draft. You just can't, because they have 3 Hall of Famers on that team that they like drafted themselves, and I think that might just come down to evaluations. Like who do you have like scouting these players out?
It's also like the market. So like the Thunder, like I wouldn't advise the Thunder trade their picks for stars, because they're not going to keep them for long term.
Yeah.
But like say the Lakers, trade LeBron and AD for some reason and get like 6 first-round picks over the next 10 years, right? They could trade those picks for 2 more superstars.
Yeah.
And then they'd be able to even bring in more superstars on top of that. if they wanted to. Whereas like the Celtics, I think can. I think Boston's a pretty good market, but it's
It
not
is.
like LA. But it's not like LA, you know.
They're still like Boston's still in like a higher tier though of markets.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially in
Okay.
basketball, because the legacy for the Celtics, like they're the most. Are they the most winning team? Like
They have the
championship wise.
most. They have the most championships,
So
but
like their
we all know why.
historical. Oh yeah, Bill Russell, like 10. What do you have? 10 out of 11 or whatever.
He has 11 rings.
11
It's like
rings. So
11 out of
11 out of
13.
13. Yeah,
or something like that. Yeah.
So like they have like historical like value and stuff, and people and like players like that. So obviously they have money, but I think they should have traded away like 2 of their picks, even if it was like Jaylen Brown and somebody else. They should have traded that away for a superstar, like earlier, because Jaylen Brown's good, but like they need a guy like a guard who can like.
Well, the thing about Jaylen Brown,
they had Kyrie too, which is insane, but.
Yeah, the thing about Jaylen Brown is his values is just gotten higher and higher. So the fact that they've kept him, and if they do want to deal him, then they'll probably get more for him now than they would have like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
which I think that's that's good. So that's like the risk you take. Like, do you trade this guy away now when he could get better, like that kind of thing? But I need your prediction before we end this. Like, who's going to the finals? I need to know. I've already said Suns in 6 and Hawks in 7.
If Kawhi doesn't come back, it's the Suns should win. 5, 6, 7 doesn't really matter. The Suns should win that series without Kawhi. The other one's kind of tough. It just depends on tonight. Like I would probably still say the Bucks. I just think that they're going to pull it off somehow. But because this is their time to fucking do it, you know.
This is it.
Getting in the way of the Hawks. Like out of all other outcomes possible here, this was like the best one you could have hoped for. They have to figure out a way to do it, and I'm just gonna say that they can. I honestly don't know, but I'm gonna say the Bucks just so we're not the same, and then I'm gonna say the Suns win it because the Suns probably will win the whole thing because they're really.
So people ask me this because I'm from Atlanta, right? So they're like, "You're not a Hawks fan?" I'm like, "No, I'm a Lakers fan." But if the Lakers aren't in it, which most times they are, right? So it's kind of like I never root for the Hawks, but since the Lakers are out and the Hawks are in, it's kind of like, well, yeah, I do want the Hawks to win, but I kind of also want the Suns to win. But I shouldn't want the Suns to win because the Suns and the Lakers are in the same division in the conference, and they've always like had somewhat of a rivalry. So I should want the Hawks to win because I'm actually from Atlanta. I don't know, but the Suns have never won a championship. The Hawks have won one. Like that was back in the day, though.
In the 50s. It was in the 50s.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. So I don't know.
They weren't even in Atlanta. They were like
it was St. Louis. It was St. Louis. Yeah. So it doesn't like actually count. But
I think Atlanta sports needs this. Honestly, do. I think it will help soften the blow from 2016, and also like the previous Hawks seasons where they had like really good teams and just got shit on by LeBron. So I think they need that, but at the same time, like Phoenix doesn't. Oh, they have the Cardinals, I guess.
The Cardinals they didn't win though. They won Super Bowl, but they lost. Yeah,
but it's like any smaller market like that, you want to see them win. You know, like. And I think of the Suns a lot like the Browns, like consistent, like shit teams, never good. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, they got a team now. And it's like, I want them to win.
Yeah.
You know, it's like same with the Browns, like small market team. It does good in the draft, gets good players. It's like, oh my God, they're actually doing something. It's like, yeah, I want the Browns to win, but also because I'm from there. But
yeah, all the teams left except for LA have like built it. Like they built it themselves. Like Devin Booker, they surrounded Devin Booker with a lot of talent. In Atlanta, they surrounded Trae Young with like all the talent he needed. Which I mean, the Hawks like they did theirs through free agency, but it wasn't egregious like the Warriors, right? It's kind of like you just go get pieces.
Think about who they got in free agency. It wasn't any of their big name players.
Yeah,
or like Bogdanovich, but he's not like the guy because Trae and John Collins are the 2 main guys, and they drafted both of them. The Suns drafted D Book. I mean, they picked up CP3, but like he's also like 34 years old, 35. Like he's an old dude.
Yeah,
33. So like he's not like he's still really good. Don't get me wrong. And I think everybody knew that with the Thunder. Him going to the Thunder was the best thing for his career because like he went from the Rockets where everyone thought he was washed to like
leaving Houston.
You're still fucking you're crazy good, and then he leaves the Thunder and they're like the worst team one of the worst teams in basketball. He's like, yeah, I'm that good. I'm that guy. You're not that guy, pal. Like Chris Paul is that guy, pal. Yeah, but like
That means
any
funny.
team, honestly, any
What,
team.
dang,
Like
what was I about to
Clippers.
say? Yeah, yeah. I was about to say something. I forgot what it was. Oh man, I think it was about Atlanta. Crap. Never mind. But there was one funny meme. It was kind of like it was a picture of PJ Tucker. Have you seen that? PJ Tucker, Clint Capella, Chris Paul, and James Harden when they were all in the Rockets, and like the only one that's not in the playoffs is James Harden after he wanted to leave. I thought that was hilarious.
It's like Stephen A. Smith said, it's karma. That's why the Nets aren't in anymore.
Yeah. Oh, I remember what
honestly
I was
though,
yeah,
is it karma? Probably.
Yeah.
He was like James Harden. He got really fat, in the preseason and started the season. Like, don't think that has anything to do with his hamstring issue. It's like, you're honestly probably right. Like, you didn't condition, you didn't train during the off season. Like, you just thought you'd be good. Like, yeah, and you got hurt. I mean, sorry. He was hurt all year, wasn't he? He was hurt for a long time.
Not all year, no, not all year. Towards the end of the regular season, he started getting some issues. But I think so this is the last thing that we can end this episode. The funniest thing about the Suns like doing so well is that the media, like ESPN, they're always going to find a way to make it about Chris Paul. Like, it's so funny. I think it was Stephen A. and Mike Wilbon, like after the game, after they lobbed it to Ayton to win the game the other day, and they were like, Cameron Payne played with like the intellect of Chris Paul, and DeAndre Ayton played with the intellect of Chris Paul. Like, Chris Paul has made this team. Like, Chris Paul hasn't played in like a week and a half. It's not about him. Suns are just good. Like, you don't have to. I don't know. It's just
you gotta think like the Chris Paul effect exists.
I think it does exist. It's just kind of being overblown.
Oh yeah, for sure.
By ESPN.
It's definitely like a bunch of different things. Like Devin Booker, like last year, made huge strides towards like becoming an all-star, like an all-star player, a superstar. Then this year he has a great year. Well, he has a good year in the regular season. In the playoffs, he's fucking lights out.
Yeah.
So he's like a superstar, and like same with Trae Young. But like I think it has a lot to do with like coaching, and then adding Chris Paul, having two like all-star guards is just insane. If you have two really, really, really good guards, like you're going to be a good team.
Unless you're Washington.
Nah, that's a little bit. You talk about empty stats. Like Russell Westbrook's the king of empty stats. I love Russell Westbrook, and he's fun to watch, but like he's the king of empty stats.
Yeah.
He'll put up 30
He's the king of padding like rebound stats.
He'll put up 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists in a 72 to 113 loss. Somehow, like you talk about, like he'll put up his numbers. He'll shoot 5 for 30 and then 10 for 15 from the free throw line. Like I think it was in the playoffs, he shot like 7 for 30 or 7 for 20 something, and like 11 for 11 from the free throw line with like 30 points. And I was like, oh my god, dude, this is like, how is that possible?
I think a lot of what's going to happen with the landscape is like whatever Bradley Beal decides to do. Is he like out of contract?
Washington, or he wants out.
I can't remember if he is.
Russell Westbrook wants out because they fired Scott Brooks.
Yeah,
I heard that he wants out, so or is thinking about leaving.
Let me see before we end this.
Beal, I don't know, man. Beal needs to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, this is his last year of contract.
He needs to leave. They honestly should
upcoming extension.
Honest to God, though, the Washington Wizards should have traded Bradley Beal, and they should not have traded for Russell. They should have traded John Wall somewhere else, and they would have probably gotten a lot of picks. Because and that's the sucky thing about being a smaller market and about being a team that's not competitive is you don't want to get rid of like your star player, but he's going to leave you in the next season. You have to do something. It's like we can hold on to you for a year and have you walk. Or you could just trade them for a first round and a third round pick because he's on his last year of his contract. So just get best value for him. I mean, it's a business, but at the same time, it's like you don't want to there's only a couple players in the league you don't trade regardless of their contract.
Yeah.
LeBron, Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
I would say James Harden, but like he fucking was a liability.
He kind of made them do it. Yeah.
He was
So just to clarify about Bradley Beal's.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So just to clarify about Bradley Beal's contract. So yeah, it was up this year, but he got a 2-year extension. He's got an option for 2022 for a player option. So
okay,
we'll see what he does.
Yeah, I was gonna say though, James Harden fucking put on like 50 pounds and was still getting 40 points.
James Harden go to the strip club and eat 80 wings the night before and still give you 50.
He should go play for the Hawks. But, what's that?
Him and Lou Williams, Magic City.
Yeah, Magic City.
Oh my god!
Isn't Lou Williams on the Hawks now?
Yeah,
he's probably at Magic City every night.
He just loves the wings. Leave him alone. The wings are good.
But he went from the bubble to the Atlantic, Magic City just to get.
That's the thing though. He must have like booked it, because if he didn't fly, right, he had to drive. He's trying to sneak out. He probably drove. Right, it's a 7-hour drive.
7 hours for wings, Malik. Yeah, right.
He probably got a private plane. He probably got a jet.
There's no way he drove. There's no way he drove. He drove out of like the facility, obviously.
Yeah.
But, like, what did you expect? That we're gonna know you left? I want to get wings from Magic City. Bullshit! You went to get wings from Magic City.
Well, he's here now. He's back home, so it's all good. You can do that whenever he wants.
He has an apartment or a house right next to Magic City. It's like
he probably could afford like he could afford the entire block around Magic City if you wanted to. Probably
lives there.
There's not much there. If I showed it to you, you'd be like, yeah, it's like this, and like it's the hood around it until you get like downtown.
You ever go to Magic City, Malik, for the wings?
No, I've never been there. So
apparently, you're missing out.
Yeah, I gotta try them.
I don't know if Helen would like you going to Magic City just for the wings.
I mean, she'll just be like, let's go to Wingstop instead.
Yeah. Probably cheaper at Wingstop.
Let me do the outro here. We're at 50 minutes, so.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for listening. We don't apologize for being late. It's our podcast. Do what we want. But we'll keep you posted on the next one whenever that goes live. But we appreciate you listening. Take care.